It is the Feel Good Drive on 919, and it is my absolute pleasure for us to jump into the fourth edition of Future Tech. Today we are chatting to Mitch Adams, who is the former co-founder of OZOW and current CEO of Aions Creative Technology. So Mitch pursued a career in IT and sort of got himself into the fintech industry through a brokerage. Then he got experience in the payments industry. This led him to start the company that is known as OZOW back in 2014 to create a platform that is accessible and sort of streamlines, makes things a bit more convenient when it comes to using payments like EFT. They work with banks like Discovery, Investec, Capitec, Nedbank, FNB, Standard Bank, ABSA, TimeBank. So it really does make things a lot easier to have one platform to do that. In 2022, Mitch founded and funded a local venture builder and business incubator called Aions Creative Technology. And his two big goals with this was to incubate and scale local startups to become scalable, sustainable businesses, and also help corporate South Africa to become triple BEE in the process. Please, can you welcome Mitch Adams? Mitch, thank you so much for joining us on 919.
Wow, what a intro. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And it's really due because the platforms that you've been a part of OZOW to name, I mean, where you started with that, and then now the fact that you are helping other businesses kind of to follow in your footsteps, it's very commendable. What we do here on Future Tech is just try and make this kind of thing a little bit more accessible to the average person who doesn't have an IT background, who doesn't necessarily know what fintech is or how to get assistance with a startup. Because a lot of I don't want to say that there's gatekeeping, but a lot of it is getting the knowledge from an early age and then knowing the right people. I want to say you are the right people. You are the people that we need to know so that we can know how to do these things. So when it's
to be honest, I feel like an imposter in the system. Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
But those are usually the best people because they don't have this like air of overconfidence. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not a bad place to be, but also like there's more here to your bio that I could go into, Mitch. But we're not going to go. You're doing great. You're doing great. You are the right person. Let me just leave it at that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. With having an IT background and then getting into fintech, like what is that space? Because for me, banking is accountants and then IT is numbers and computers. Clearly, they have to talk to each other. But how do you go from the one to the other?
I don't think it was ever a thing. I think we call it fintech now. But when we were doing it, it wasn't called fintech. It was called numbers.
Okay.
And essentially, you just find better ways to do things. When I got into the brokerage, for instance, the JSE still had a bunch of people in a room screaming at each other.
Okay.
How that ever worked, I can't tell you. And there was a better way to do it. We had the internet. We could connect systems where people could sit on a computer and actually start trading with each other instead of screaming at each other in a room. And that's essentially is fintech. But at the time, it was just more how do we digitize or automate stuff.
So you mean to tell me if I go to the JSE now, they're not screaming at each other and waving papers in the air?
No.
Not at all. Oh, that's
not anymore.
That's good to know because that's brings me back to reality because that's literally the image that I had. I thought they always worked like that. So what? So now got a bunch of people like on computers with headphones.
That's it. You have brokerage rooms on headphones in shorts, not in shirts anymore. And they sit in front of a system that has a whole bunch of numbers. In fact, it's all automated. They'll say, look, when the price is at this, buy. When the price is at this, sell. And then they just sit there sipping on a Slurpee.
Okay.
And watching the computer do its thing. Yeah.
So do you have to learn what it is that they are doing in order to understand how to make it more efficient?
100%. And that is the tricky part, I guess, and what also separates a normal software developer from, let's say, your entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the industry itself, every industry can take some form of tech into it. And I guess like health, they're calling it now health tech. There's green tech, there's insure tech, edu tech. It's just digitizing what the analog system was and then adding a tech aspect to it. But yes, you do have to understand what that's about, what the problem and pain points are, and how can you fix it. And in order to do so, you need to immerse yourself into that world, into that industry, and learn. You're not going to find an accountant saying, hey, this is how you can fix it. Yeah, and there you'll find somebody like that, but they won't do it because they don't have the means to change it. So very early on in my career, I did have a few professionals come to me and say, I have an idea of how we can do something, but I can't do it myself. Can you code it for me? And then they want to give you like a small stake in the business. And I'm like, no, I'm doing all the work. In fact, now I have the idea. So I don't need you at all.
Oh, wow.
You have to bring a bit more to this party than just an idea. So they have to bring knowledge, they have to bring connections, network access, and I need to learn more about that from them and bring the tech aspect, which is why I believe most startups should have 2 to 3 founders. You can't just have one person in there.
To bring in the knowledge.
To bring in different aspects and different skill sets that's going to really make it a well-rounded team.
So this new sort of incubator that you've got, Aions Creative Technology, you founded it and you funded it. Are you the only founder, or do you have co-founders with you on this venture as well?
Firstly, that's a swear word that you use,
Which
the
one?
Incubator word.
Oh.
Incubator,
Business,
So we call it a venture builder.
A local venture builder. Okay.
Venture builder, yes.
I don't know what
Incubators,
that means. Yeah.
I'll give you a quick rundown.
Yeah.
Incubators and accelerators are concepts that have existed for quite a few years. Incubators bring you in and they incubate you like chickens that go into a little heater.
Yeah.
Yes, you are brand new and they kind of setting you up for something, and it's a short course, it's 3 to 6 months. Accelerator is exactly the same, except they're taking you into this hyper intense educational program to scale your company very quickly. At the end of it, you have to do a demo to a bunch of investors, and either they're going to invest in you or not. What we do is venture building. I've been through those myself when I was doing OZOW. I just didn't feel that it worked all the time. I felt it was a tick box exercise because these are funded by BEE programs, which is what you mentioned BEE earlier on. And that's why I feel BEE kind of fell off. So venture builder is more, we build ventures based on a mandate given to us by somebody. And the one issue we saw was venture capitalists, which are the ones that take the risk in investing money, normally in early stage companies. If you're a brand new company, you've gone through an incubator or accelerator, you still don't meet this high criteria of a venture capitalist. There's just certain fundamentals in there that makes your business still very risky. And you saying to the VC, give me money and I'll get to the level that you require me to get to. The VC saying, no way am I giving you money if you're not at my level.
Yes. So
there's this catch-22, it keeps happening, and I've compared this to a watering hole. It's kind of a bad analogy, but it's Africa, and I'm going with it.
Okay.
There's a watering hole, and all the companies come to the watering hole: the bison, the buffalo, the giraffes, everything. And then you got these predators all around, and those are the investors. Now, the less water there is, the less animals come through, which means there's less things to hunt for. At this point, there's very little water in the watering hole, and everybody that meets the criteria, there's maybe 5, and you have 12 VCs all going for them. Now, these guys can't go with all 12 VCs, and what happens is some of these VCs don't end up deploying their cash, which means they have to give it back to the investors, meaning that fund fails, and then the story goes around that South Africa is an uninvestable country because there's not enough businesses. That's not true. We're just very risk averse, and we have to plug that gap. That's where we come in.
Okay.
We are the venture builders, and we build the ventures for these VCs in particular, so they don't have to go finding a watering hole. We're saying, we'll dig the watering hole, a well for you, and we'll bring the animals here, and you can come and eat as much as you want.
And the animals are not going to be super thirsty because we've given them so much water. They're
so
full,
much water.
They're full of the water that we've given them. I get it now. Okay, so you it's kind of like it's an education thing. Like you're teaching people skills to get to the point where they can scale and then go live and then produce for the country or open their service for everyone. You're taking them from nice idea, systems are cool, but this it can't just be a project. It needs
a lot more.
Yes. Okay. But that's yeah.
Look, we build a team around them. You'll find somebody that knows everything about drone tech, and they can go on and on about how they can make the best drone in the world, and they know their product inside and out, but they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to negotiate legal contracts. They don't know how to hire people, how to manage them. So building the team, all of that, we come in and we build a team around them, which augments it.
A warehouse maybe as well? Like how that works?
Yeah, we even assist with that. Some of the companies we've helped get GMP status, basically, so that they can sell to retailers as well. We've helped them with factory as well. But those are the non-tech stuff that we're doing. So from our side, we don't only focus on tech. It's business in general, and in particular, Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
Because we feel you said this right in the beginning, it's the really people that have access to certain things, they're the ones that's getting all the opportunities. People that never had access to this in the past and still don't have access today, they're not getting the opportunities. So we're creating that access.
I love that. And the businesses that you're working on, it's not necessarily all tech businesses, or are they 80 to 90% tech businesses?
It also, again, it depends on the mandate of whoever is funding that pool of money. So with my money that I put into this, I didn't have a mandate. I said, we're just going to help people. Unfortunately, that funding's finished now. Okay. And I would say that was 75% manufacturing, 25% tech. And we got a contract with Telkom Future Makers last year, which is the BE arm of Telkom. And through that is a tech mandate, strictly a tech mandate there.
Okay. So maybe a couple of questions around this. For somebody to be able to come to you, what would they need to have before they could even think about approaching Aions to do the things that you guys do, to amplify? What is the standard that you are accepting? Because obviously there's lots of people with ideas and they maybe have no resources. Yes. They've got nothing else. It's no, it's too much work. You need to be at this level. So what level are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's not ideation. We don't fund ideas. We don't fund R&D either. You have to have some sort of a proven use case, a proven model, that you have a customer base that does exist. Now, that customer base doesn't have to be massive. It could be 10 people. You could be making 100 Rand a month off of these guys. But you've proven to us that the product works and there's somebody out there that wants it. Then we'll analyze it and see where you can actually end up. Now, we're investing on behalf of somebody else. And again, we're building this for venture capitalists who want to make money. So this needs to be scalable. If you're selling Vetkoek on the side of the road, unfortunately, even if you digitize that in some way, if it's not scalable, we can't bring you into this program. But if it is scalable, yes, we're going to bring you in. And a lot of the times I see people not even realizing the potential of what they have on their hands. So we almost have to unlock that for them and show it to them. And it's amazing to see that unfold. And it's quite rewarding to see an entrepreneur just realize further than what they believed was their potential.
That's nice. And that's what takes me back to this. So earlier I mentioned you're kind of more in education, not like schools, but you are educating people and you're upskilling them from being in IT, from being in fintech, and then being the owner of a company and managing all of that. This is a very sort of different thing. Why do you want to do this? Why did you not take your money, buy an island and chill, not have to deal with all of this?
I know this is a feel-good station, but I'm motivated by death. So
I hear, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. It's that YOLO thing. This is it. You've got to make it count, right? Make a difference.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you had everything you ever wanted and achieved, and I actually went through this. I mean, you can get to a very bad mental health state.
Mm-hmm.
They call it chasing your dream for a reason, because you're never supposed to achieve your dream.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when you do achieve your dream? What next? If you had everything you ever wanted and everything you ever strive for, you'd probably be happy for about 6 weeks. And then after that, you're just waking up every day.
Miserable.
Waiting to die.
Yeah.
It's your time. It's just time now.
So what is the thing? What is the thing for you? Like, do you have a number of how many businesses you want to help, or you just want to help as many people as possible to be successful, or to provide for, put South Africa on the map when it comes to tech and being entrepreneurs? Like, what is the thing, or is it you haven't got a cap?
It's gradually changed for me. I wouldn't put a metric next to it, but I would say the driving force. I was actually going to leave the country, not for an island, but I was going to buy citizenship in an Eastern European country that was a candidate to become a European Union country, and then I would be part of the European Union and all of that. I got kids, and I just looked at the country and I said, "Are they going to have a job here?
Yeah.
Are they going to be less potholes for us to navigate past in order to get to the shop to get food? Will there be food there?" This is all during COVID when I was going through these processes. And I wanted to leave. But the little boy inside of me reminded me how I used to stand outside of shops and talk with my friends and say, one day when we make it out of here, we're going to change things. And when we were saying make it out of here, it was more like I wouldn't become an alcoholic or a drug addict or a gangster or steal, or be a father to my kids. That was making it. I've actually surpassed that, surpassed that, especially on the financial aspect, and I'm running away. I need to change something. And the one thing I looked at that was bothering me was unemployment. And the only thing that's fixing unemployment is SMEs. If you look at the stats, 90% of jobs are coming from SMEs, not from the big corporates. So we need more companies coming in. But the problem is these guys are failing within the first 2 years. 50% of companies fail within the first 2 years. You get to year 6, you're talking about 98%.
They don't have
now
the resources.
They don't have mentorship and they don't have funding. So we need to plug those gaps. Where is the government doing stuff to help there? They came out with something called ISP, which is an incubation support program. And you have these BEE structures as well, which is ESD, Enterprise and Supplier Development. The thing is, those are being run through incubators and accelerators. And help. I've already given my gripe on that. There are some good guys.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats on that, though, 90% of companies that go through a good accelerator or incubator go on to succeed. If you don't go into that, you fall into this 98% failure rate.
Sure.
But 90% that go through those programs succeed. So there's something to it. The other stat is 90% of these programs actually fail. So you have to pick your program very well, choose wisely. And if you do choose the right one, you are bound for success. So there is a need for this, but there's a need for the right people running it, the right people doing it for the right reasons. And I felt that was me. So I'll just put the money in and I'll build this thing. So for me, if I have to put a metric to something, it would be to see that unemployment percentage switch around and stop going up. I mean, we have the highest rate in the world. It's ridiculous. We need to change that. And if I see that switch the other way around, then I feel like I've made a contribution to that somewhere.
I love that, Mitch. Thank you. That was I want to say enlightening and heartwarming, and I literally got a little bit tearful there when you were chatting. What a nice thing to say about, you know what, I almost thought you were going to say you were going to be the president of a country. It's like, I could have been the president in Europe somewhere, but I decided I'm going to stay here and fix it. I am going to, listen, Mitch, if you had to have, we've got elections now, 29 May. If you had to quickly make a party, I'd vote for you, my friend. I would absolutely vote for you, because I honestly don't know. I don't know who to vote for at the moment, but for you, I'd put in my vote 100%. Before I let you go, Mitch,
thank you.
I wanted to just ask, where do you see the most growth and potential for people who are wanting to go into some kind of field? They may be sitting with some options, or they're looking to pivot, looking to change. Where would you suggest people look at where the gaps are? Not to give away any of your anybody's IP or anything like that, but where do you think there's the most potential?
Okay, I'm going to give you that, but I request can I have a few more minutes, maybe another 2, just to plug something that I think is going to help other people as well.
Please do.
So AI is the trend right now. Everybody's doing AI.
Yes.
Before that, it was blockchain.
Yes.
Before that, it was big data.
Okay.
I actually had a chat at ALX teaching a few weeks ago where I spoke about this, and I was saying it's surface tension. Like mosquitoes being born, parasites on the top of the surface. As long as there's surface tension, they're there and you'll find them there. Everybody's attracted to the next trend. But you need to break through the surface tension to understand the deep use cases for problems, how these can actually solve problems. And if you can solve a problem, you can create a business idea out of it. That means you're going to have a lot of customers lining up. That's the one thing I love about South Africa. All these problems, just find solutions for them.
Yeah.
So many business opportunities available, and people will be willing to pay you. In my plug, if you can't come up with some of these ideas or be the person that creates the solutions, then join somebody else. Join their mission. They need staff. They need those first founders that get in at the ground. And if you also can't be one of those guys that just joins into a fearless leader, become one of those people that participates in it. We've created a platform called the Aions Exchange, which the address is aions.exchange, IONS.exchange. We take those companies that we invest in, we take those actual shares, the real world shares, and we mint digital tokens against them, and we've placed them on a blockchain. Because we put them on a blockchain, we can fractionalize ownership. So you can come with a 50 Rand and actually invest into the companies we've invested into. And when we do those exits in 3 years' time to the VCs, you'll be taking part in that financial reward. In the same way where I started a company from nothing, there's one thing that you didn't mention in here. Over 7 years, from 2014 to 2021, I exited in 2021 after an investment from Tencent, the Chinese company, of $48 million US. Where in the corporate world can you work for 7 years and get a piece of a $48 million purse?
This is why
you're not going to get
I saw
that.
the number, and that's why I said you could have just gone and had your island and been the president
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, now we're giving the opportunity for anybody in South Africa to have that same experience.
Very
you come in, you check out our companies. There's no fees, there's no upfront fees, nothing. We take a commission at the end, yes. In fact, we even guarantee a return. And many people are scared off by that. How can you guarantee the return? You've heard my heart already. And I'm putting my money on the line for that. If I don't get it right, I'll pay you back with the return. So you can get involved in that. And we're looking at about 840% ROIs on this, which is return on investment.
What?
So if you put in a decent amount of money, after 3 years, you should see quite a big return. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that right now. Aions, AIONS.exchange.
.exchange, that's it.
And then, very nice. I mean, literally money growing on trees. Love that for us. Thanks, Mitch. I'm going to scan it. There's a
That's
QR code.
Essentially it.
I'm going to scan it, and I'm going to get involved because, listen, also with the way that financial things are going, you don't know if your investments are actually going to be safe there. But that return rate of what? 800 and what? That sounds pretty
840%.
Yeah,
our guarantee is 10% year on year. So over 3 years, you're getting just over 30% return.
And the better
you won't
thing
even
for
get that
me
in
is
a bank.
that, I mean, you're like, oh, people know my heart, yeah, but I have your number now, so I will find you, Mitch. I don't care where you are. I'll find you. I'll just be like, listen, you told me to put my 50 Rand there, and I wanted times 800, so we'll see. I'm just kidding. But I think, brilliant. And
look, we govern by we have an FSP license, so we govern by the FSCA.
Of course.
If we don't live up to this, we're going to get slapped with massive fines.
Big trouble for you. But that's not going to happen. I think it's going to go well.
Not at all.
Mitch, this has been great. Where's the gap? That was the last thing I asked you. Where's the gap for people?
Yes, so I was saying AI is the trend right now, but break through the surface tension of the trend, find the actual use case behind it. For instance, on AX, we found the use case for blockchain. It's not crypto. It's actually fractional ownership. That we created there. People went crazy for NFT, and then NFT makes some people some money for a bit, but there is a use case behind that. That's an actual business. So yes, AI is amazing, but find a use case behind it. Find the problem that you want to solve in the world and use the tool or the technology that is available to you to solve those problems.
I think that's where we can leave it. Mitch, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I think hopefully people learned a lot from that. And if you want to, I suppose, find out more, you can go to Aions Creative Technology or Aions Exchange if you want to know about the starting your wealth journey with AEX. I think it sounds really exciting. It was an absolute pleasure, Mitch. I'm really glad our paths crossed, and I think you added a lot of value to everyone's Thursday. Have a beautiful weekend, and hopefully we will cross paths again soon.